Shabbat Shalom, and thank you to Nadine and Mark for leading us in with Untitled Chapter, which is our high holiday poem that we chant that is very familiar, but we asked her to sing this today as a nod to the upcoming Yom HaZikaron, the commemoration of the fallen soldiers in Israel that begins Monday night and Tuesday. So thank you for sharing that beautiful melody with us. And we sing together. Come, come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Come, come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Blessed is the blessed one. Blessed is the blessed one. Blessed is the giver of blessings. Blessed in this moment now and every now to come. Blessed is the blessed one. Blessed is the giver of blessings. Blessed is this moment now and every now to come. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses God. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. When we bring the light of Shabbat with lighting of the candles, I hope you've all prepared your candles, and we're going to light our candles, and Maya is going to help me light my Shabbat candles in the candle holders that she made. So we're gonna light together. And then we're gonna sing the blessing, the candle blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Shabbat Shalom. Here we are again, one more week in our homes for Shabbat. We feel, in a sense, exiled. In this week's Torah portion, we learn of the Mitzorah, the person who has this weird disease, this weird skin ailment called Sara'at, who has to be exiled outside of the camp until this person's condition heals. But I think a key part of the Torah portion is the priest, the leader, the religious leader of the people, goes outside of the camp to bring the person back in, to welcome them back into the community. Now, We still can't bring people into our homes. We still can't bring you all back into the synagogue. But we can welcome each other in some sense. We can still welcome Shabbat into our homes. So let's sing this song of welcome, where we welcome the spirit of Shabbat, Shalom Aleichem, on page 24 in the Siddur.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochen Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LaShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem LaShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we continue to welcome Shabbat with the 6 psalms that prepare us to welcome Shabbat with Zamru Ladonai. Zamru Ladonai Bechino, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra. If you're in the prayer book, we're on page 16. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra.
Shabbat is a taste of what the world could be. In L'chadodi, it's personified as a groom and a bride. Shabbat is about love, and love is about how the world could be or the world should be. We have hope in this world. And at the end of L'chadodi, we rise and welcome in this Shabbat bride, welcome in this love. Look out in the world. Some people look out the windows of the doors of the synagogue to welcome in Shabbat. Look out at the world as it is, not as it should be, but imagining this world, this hope that we have, it's a world as it should be. L'chadodi is on page 20. We'll be singing verse 1 and verse 9. And when we get to verse 9, please, if you're able, rise and welcome in the Kala, the Shabbat bride.
L'chadodi, likrat kala, kenei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi, likrat kala, kenei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל המאוחד. לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה. תוך אמונה רם סגולה, בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We continue with Mizmor Shir, another psalm on page 22. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמחה עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמחה עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, להגיד בבוקר חסדך באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבט ועלי היגיון וחידון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר בשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. And we continue with our Maori Service, which is on Baruch Hu on page 28. And we sing it to the melody that we have recently learned, and we rise if we're able. We continue on page 30. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם, כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אמת. a lot of people I've been reading, I've been hearing, people are losing track of time. Feels like time doesn't exist right now, but our Torah commands us every night from Pesach to Shavuot to count the nights to Shavuot, and time just does keep moving. Here we are today, tomorrow, Rosh Chodesh Iyar, a new month. Feels like we're standing still, and yet we are moving forward. And the only way we can move forward, get to where the world needs to be, is if we march together. We can't literally march together right now, but we can do what we can little by little. So I want to read this reading from the philosopher Michael Walzer. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue with Ashkivenu on page 42 and 43, asking God for protection and comfort and to be embraced. And hopefully we all have somebody to embrace and be embraced by. And if not, I'm sending you all a virtual embrace and we sing on page 42 and 43. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Last time. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. And we continue on page 44 with verses from Torah, reminding us that it is important for us to observe the seventh day of rest as God has rested after creating the world in 6 days. Veshamru bnei Israel et Shabbat לעשות את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדות הברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדות הברית עולם. We continue now with Amidah, which we begin together at Adonai Sfatai. We ask God to open up our lips so that we can declare God's prayer. And we begin together on page 46 or with the words on the screen. And then we continue each privately. Adonai Sfatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Our thoughts and prayers turn to those of us who are in need of healing. And a few more words of this poem. We are like dry grass, a withering flower, a passing shadow, vanishing cloud, like a breeze that blows away, and dust that scatters like a dream that flies away. This poem reminds us how vulnerable we are, but it also gives us hope And in prayer, we have hope. And at this time, we are praying for healing for all the people in our community and in the world. We think of Joyce Becker, Larry Benson, Margot Blaustein, Lee Broadwin, Tyler Cavill, Mitchell Cobert, Ellie Dadoun, Bridget Daly, Claudia DiGizu, Nicholas DiGizu, Sally Friedman, Elaine Holenko, Oliver David Horn, Lydia Hitchko, Eileen Jacobs, Sheila Carner, Maria Kittele, Gay Clapman, Matthew Croyne, Joseph Lupkin, Lori Mazzarella, Michael Morrissey, Dr. James Pruden, David Rifkin, Karen Russo, Yona Rosen, Don Rubin, Jeff Schwartz, Deb Sabiri, John Sabiri, Rochelle Simon, Michael Sorkin, Anita Switinsky, Glenn Switinsky, Marjorie Von Doe, Lisa Wolper, Rochelle Yohanan, Jennifer Zian Concerto, Rebecca Zaid, Nicole Kenny, Sandhya, and Rabbi David Nesson. We think of all of the people in the front lines these days that are working very hard to save the rest of us, and we send our healing prayers to the whole world. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Motenu, Mekor HaBracha, Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
My first time that I got to experience Yom HaZikaron in Israel, the Israeli Memorial Day, was when I was spending my junior year abroad at Hebrew University, and I got lucky that I got tickets to go to the ceremony at Har Herzl at the main military cemetery in Jerusalem. It was a very emotional experience. And then right the next day, so this week it's Monday night is Yom HaZikaron, and then Tuesday night, the next day, is Yom HaAtzmaut, the joy of Israeli Independence Day. Both these days right next to each other. They designed it like that on purpose because that's life, grief and joy, mourning and dancing in the streets. And I remember going downtown in Jerusalem and taking part in front of the city hall in a big square of circle dancing all night. Great joy. Now this year, it's going to not feel the same way. People won't be dancing in the streets. But people will be singing Hatikvah, the national anthem. Hatikvah meaning the hope. So what is it about hope? What is hope? I spoke about this for a minute today on a video. Hope is not the same thing as optimism. Optimism is the belief that things are just going to get better. That's just how it is. But that's a bit naive. Things don't just get better. This pandemic is not just going to magically end. And there's not going to be a miracle cure unless people work towards it, investigate, have real medical scientific trials. Things are not just going to get better, but things might be better if we take the steps, step by step. That's hope. Hope is not naive. Hope is having a vision of what the world should be, having a plan of how to get there, knowing that it's not a straight path. And our people, through the Torah, might have brought the world hope. Other ancient peoples believed that time was circular, or that you had no choice and no freedom, it was just the fates. But the Torah brought into the world the idea that our actions matter and the future is not determined, and that it is the hope of what the future might bring that propels us forward. In Judaism, we don't dream of a glorious past. We have a vision of a glorious future. And so it is hope that will get us through this time. The hope that the Israelis had coming from the Holocaust to independence. The hope that Israelis feel when they commemorate Yom HaZikaron, all of the sacrifices that people gave for the country, to the next day, Yom HaAtzmaut, where they're dancing in the streets. That's hope. Hope is what's going to get us through this weird time. Hope that we can do our part little by little, even just wearing a mask outside, even all these things are mitzvahs, that the little things that we can do, and sending love and support to the people who can do the bigger things, that's hope. I want to read this quote from Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. Judaism is a religion of details, but we miss the point if we do not sometimes step back and see the larger picture. To be a Jew is to be an agent of hope in a world serially threatened by despair. Every ritual, every mitzvah, every syllable of the Jewish story, every element of Jewish law is a protest against escapism, resignation, or the blind acceptance of fate. Judaism is a sustained struggle, the greatest ever known, against the world that is, in the name of the world that could be, should be, but is not yet. There is no more challenging vocation. Throughout history, when human beings have sought hope, they have found it in the Jewish story. Judaism is the religion and Israel the home of hope. So we find hope in our prayers. Let's turn to page 282 as we begin to conclude our service. If you're able, please rise. Aleinu l'shabach Adon hakol, לתת גאולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A prayer of hope during this pandemic by Rabbi Naomi Levy. We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world. Helpless and confused, we turn to you seeking comfort, faith, and hope. Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak, our young must take care of our old. Help each one of us to do our part to halt the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of the battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless their efforts, O God. Fill our leaders with the wisdom and the courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us. Grace us with your love. Bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. נאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. I forgot before Aleinu, we are called from the Torah to count our nights between the second night of Pesach to Shavuot, our holiday of the giving of the Torah. So I'm going to share the screen with our blessing as Cantor introduces a new tune.
הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים מצוות עשה של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על ספירת העומר, על ספירת העומר, על ספירת העומר, על ספירת העומר.
היום 16 יום שהם שני שבועות, שני ימים בעומר. Today is 16 days, which is 2 weeks, 2 days of the Omer. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Think of the recent death of Martin Silverstein. We're in the period of Shloshim, the first month of mourning for Marcia Gittimer, Stephen Kenner, Janice Anapol, Eileen Ackerman, Ken Jewell, Joseph Weinberg. This week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of Saul Argush, Linda Gradis Blatt, Gaetano Kailea, Marty Epstein, Frida Friedman, Samuel Glickman, Geraldine Gorin, Aaron Gozonsky, May Gross, Stuart Heller, Liddy Levy, Bernard Menkes, Frank Paul, Rose Pearl, Rennie Phelps, Mira Rosencrans, Helen Sarnoff, Lorraine Sedler, Marta Stern, Alan Tamarkin, Sam Ungerlater, and Frida Weiss. Perhaps you're thinking of someone, saying Kaddish for someone. If you'd like to say their name, please feel free to say it. Yichonam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalma divrach hirute, Yamlich malchute, V'chayachon u'yomechon, U'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach yitpa'ar yitromam yitnaseh. Yithadar v'yitalev yithalal Shmei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. We go to Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה ורצון. הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. אמן.
Amen. L'chaim, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Please join us in the Zoom Oneg. You can find the link on our website, templebeneor.org. Someday soon we'll be back together again. Shabbat Shalom.